Characters Collide rules. Number 1. Outside help is not allowed unless it benefits both characters. Number 2. If there is multiple canons of a character, we will choose the ones that will give the fairest matchup. Number 3. The field or animation does not depict how the fight would go. It is merely for entertainment. Number 4. Non-canon is not allowed for either characters, unless, however, we are using a specific non-canon form of a character. We hope you enjoy the episode.
Insanity is something most wouldn't want. Something most would fear.
But these two fully embrace their madness with a smile.
Tohru Adachi, the crooked cop of Persona.
And Hazama, the sneaky snake husk of Blazblue.
He's Demon and I'm Archer.
And it's our job to see what would happen when these two fictional characters collide.
Never judge a book by its cover is a well-known saying.
But also stupid, because the whole point of a book cover is to express something about the book. Like, why shouldn't you judge a book by its cover? If a horror novel has the covers of a kid's book, I think you got the right to judge whatever Mora made that executive decision.
It's mainly supposed to imply that just because something looks bad doesn't mean it necessarily is. The quality of something is beyond just the surface.
But here, it's the complete opposite. Tohru Adachi was a city police officer transferred to the countryside after fucking up a case. Let's say he's not too happy with that.
I mean, it did kind of pay off. Sometime after transferring, he ran into a gas station. The gas station was completely normal, except that it was run by the actual legitimate goddess Izanami. Why she was running that place, I don't know. The stupidity of a god being a gas station attendant is something akin to what the idiots writing for Nemesis Bloodreich would come up with. Anyways, unbeknownst to him, Izanami granted him great power.
Yeah, he was able to enter a place called the TV world and bring others into it as well. And how did he use this incredible power? Well, he staged a series of murders by trapping people in the TV world and let them get brutally murdered by the shadows during midnight, and brainwashed another person into admitting he did it himself. Yeah!
Yikes. I mean, I suppose if you're part of the police force, people are gonna believe you more than the supposed serial killer. Man, the judicial system is... Demon, you wrote a swear into my script!
Shut up, Archer!
The judicial system is sexual intercourse, even in video games.
That's not as funny.
It wasn't a joke.
You're a joke, though. Although Archer, his cunning wasn't the only thing that put him in the position he's at. He had a few things on him to make sure he didn't get caught. He had access to a persona. What's a persona, you may ask? Well, fuck you, go watch Joker vs. Warrior for full explanation. We need the views.
What Demon meant to say was that a persona is basically the shadow of someone's true side with Adachi's persona. Izanagi, it's more true than usual. He's basically stitched together with his persona. No, really, he's basically one with it, unlike other Persona users, and that kind of makes him even more dangerous.
Like any Persona user, he has the ability to access multiple different powers. With Vorpal Blade, he's able to do multiple slashes hitting everyone around him. With Mazodane and Maguadana, whatever the fuck that is, it's basically two abilities that lets him do giant wind and electrical attacks.
With Mudan, he has a chance to insta-kill the enemy. Heat Riser increases his attack, defense, and lastly, Takunda lets him nullify all enemy boosts.
And also, if you can't tell, he has a revolver, the most dangerous weapon of all.
Well, Demon acts like the moron he is.
It's not an act.
Let's get to Adachi's feats and his somewhat scaling. Like, for one, he should be easily scalable to you and the investigation team before their final battle with Izanami. But we could scale him during the time of Mino Sagiri. Sagiri was able to make a giant fog that infected the entire town of Inaba, and by what he says, the entire world. If we scale Adachi to you and the cast then, he should be around the same level of power. Also because he came one with Sagiri during the battle for a short time.
That's nothing compared to the scaling he has with the Q2 crossover. Then again, it's debatable if the scaling should go to Adachi at all, since he got his butt kicked way before the events of said crossover. Since we are giving something odd to Hazama later, we should do the same to Adachi.
And one of the characters Adachi could scale to is the Phantom Thief's own Joker. Hey, it's the guy we made fight Wario like 7 episodes ago with Aiden. Man, time does fly.
Anyways, last time we talked about Joker, we came to the conclusion he's at his weakest galaxy level via Akumura and the Big Bang feat, and at his highest low multiversal with the Skate to Yagaboth universe merging feat.
So if we were to be very generous, Tohru Adachi here has the chance to scale to you, who can maybe scale to Joker's strength. But that's not all, the speed is crazy too.
Not only can Adachi fight against beings who can react to and create lightning, he also does that generous scaling to Joker, who has dodged the Big Bang attack from Akumura's robots, which could easily make him at least MFTL as well. So, seems pretty good, right?
Well, besides that, nothing really happens for Adachi. He's kind of not the best fighter on his own and uses his silver tongue and his persona a lot more than his raw power. And additionally, he most likely relies on MP like every other persona user as well, so he could overuse it and lose all his abilities. And he's kinda nuts, like, really nuts.
But if Adachi is your opponent, at the end of the day you best get ready, cause with Izanagi on his side, your death is ensured.
The world is about to change! Your existence won't belong there! I thought I could just leave you be, but you're like a plague! I'll have to get rid of all of you!
Susanoo no Mikoto, the storm god and younger brother of Amaterasu, who definitely has never been talked about on this show. Born of Izanagi washing his nose, this guy...
Are you actually this stupid? That's the wrong Susanoo.
Alright, Susanoo are a giant avatar formed from a person's chunk.
In the world of Blazblue, the boundary is a world beyond the Shellgate, a complex space of infinite information that dates back to the beginning of everything.
Drawing from its power are several things, but in the deepest parts of it lies the Amaterasu unit. Ha!
The Amaterasu, or Master, unit is the top of the original units, which are the basis for all Arc Enemy event weapons.
What?
Well, Arc Enemy event weapons, or Nox Necros casualty weapon, or just Arc Enemies, are 11 weapons designed by the Senkinshin, which are grimoires converted into weapons to fight back the Black Beast.
Well, that sounds mildly racist.
Well, the Black Beast is an uncontrollable weapon beyond reason that is created by fusing a Murakumo unit and someone using a blue grimoire. Murakumo units being special dimensional boundary contact prime fields wielding Arc Enemy event weapon, Divine Radiance Murakumo, Divine Radiance being an Arc Enemy that turns into 8 floating blades and armor.
Guys, I think you just tried to summon Boogeyman.
Anyway, Amaterasu being at the top of the Senkinshin with the borrow of the Izanagi system. This is all really important, I swear. And something happens, and also there's Susanoo.
Okay, now we're back on track. The Susanoo unit is another one of the Sankensun.
And the one in charge of protecting Master Unit Amaterasu.
Are you actually shitting me out onto me? The Master Unit that can pretty much just be the god needs a protector?
Well, Izanami was born to be its opposite and equal, so there is at least one unit that could definitely kill it. Well, I mean, it's not exactly right calling her a unit. She's actually a drive manifestation.
Cool. The Susanoo unit and Tsukuyomi protected Amaterasu. But slowly the Susanoo unit developed a will, and then hated Master Unit, and fucked off. Then the Susanoo unit split from its body or something, and made Yuki Terumi.
Ah, now this is fascinating. Yuki Terumi is one of the 6 heroes, the guys that took down the Black Beast, and even the creator of the Blue Grimoire, which is actually necessary to perceive Amaterasu. Now this is funny because...
Eventually a man named Relius Clover created an artificial body and a host for Yuki Terumi. After his former vessel Kuzuma Ball died in a war, but because of some curse, the merger failed and both Terumi and the soul of the body became simultaneously host of their single physical form.
The soul within that body was given his name and became the first ever Blue Grimoire. That name was Hazama.
It took us this long to get past his backstory?
Well, actually, that's not all. You see, Terumi and Hazama created Mu-12, a Murakumo unit. And you see, they were going to use Hazama to become the body of a Black Beast with Mu-12 as a heart. But then the Takamagara,
I swear you're making these words up, Archer.
Fired Highlander Takazamuchi upon the 5th hierarchy city of Ibukudo, which stopped the smelting of Mu, turning her into Noelle Vermilion, who was actually the Master Unit possessing Mu.
Archer, you're definitely making this shit up now, are you? Are you drunk? Do you need coffee? Do you need, help with your speech therapy again?
Bro, do you know how hard it is to sleep when everything is on fire? I would love a coffee.
Too bad, asshole. Now, can we finally talk about Hazama before we die from trying to say all these names?
I mean, we've been talking about him this whole time. But yes, Hazama is a sadomasochistic sociopath, motivated to push the limits of his sociopathy until he can finally feel some mental pain.
That doesn't seem right.
A lot about him doesn't seem right.
As an artificial human, he's incredibly strong, fast, and durable, wielding several abilities to back himself up.
What does being artificial have to do with it? I mean, Makoto's pretty much just a human with a tail, and she can also break the moon.
Oh yeah. Shut up, Archer. Hazama wields the arch-enemy snake pair, Ouroboros, a steel hook shaped like a snake. He can summon this weapon out of fucking nowhere, attach it to a black and green energy chain that forms the basis of his attacks.
He can launch his chain as a projectile from the ground or in the air in pretty much any direction around him. Grapple around places using it, and simply channel the strange energy as a weapon in and of itself.
You can use it as a kind of snakehead sword, charge it into his hands and feet to slash at people with more strength than he could muster normally, and even increase the deadlines of his knife. He has a knife, by the way.
Speaking of knives, he also has a hidden one in his boot, which he can stab you with.
With a fighting style greatly reminiscent of dancing, as well as his abilities to increase his power output and strike people from a distance, Hazama is a tricky opponent to face.
As several people would know, you know because he beat the clam chatter out of him.
And part of this is derived from his blue grimoire, which is, well, is everything. When activated, he forms a magical circle known as Jaguru Magander that absorbs the health of his foes and disables other grimoires.
Well, until Ragnar uses the idea engine of Lambda to bypass the law and render Hazama's grimoire useless.
Idea engine what?
Well, an idea engine
You don't say a bunch of meaningless words in a way that you'll try to sound intelligent, are you?
The idea engine is an improvised event weapon imitation which lacks souls and power compared to the arc enemy event weapons but are more stable. They also have an unstable resistance to event interfaces. Ragnar was able to get it transferred to him, and that changed his grimoire to something similar but different to Hazama's.
Uh-huh, cool. He also has a drive, a manifestation of his soul power formed from the power of the blue.
Well, actually, in lore, the only confirmed drives are Ragnar's life force drain, Rachel Alucard's wind control, Karanjina Parset's ability to find things, and Izanami's everything.
Yes, but in gameplay, Hazama can use something that is also called a drive, known as Ouroboros. Oh, because his weapon, right. This is what allows him to use his chains, in fact. And the reason he can pull himself towards a point without even touching the point.
Ah, just like you, he can do things despite being completely pointless.
And just like you, he probably smells of burnt cabbages. Finally, Hazama has his distortion drive and his astral heat. His first distortion drive is essentially a really strong fuck-off kick.
He kicks people into the air. His second, however, is a series of attacks, beginning with the binding hold onto his opponent. His third is similar as well, grabbing the opponent, then laying a beating, complete with extra degrading head stomps.
But then there's his astral heat, where he slams you into the sky with chains and summons a big, badly animated CGI snake where he then eats you. I'm sorry?
This attack is usually strong enough to one-shot his foes, although he only uses it on them when they're weak enough. So how strong it actually is kind of up to interpretation.
Regardless, Hazama has accomplished his own share of feats.
Has he?
Actually, he doesn't have any of his own feats, although he has beat up some other people, and how strong with those people? Well, he once fought Hazama.
Actually, he switched out with Terumi,
Well, he fought Trinity.
by using her love for his former vessel to gain an advantage.
Well, then Hakumen stopped him and actually did fight him.
And he has a massive power advantage even though he couldn't successfully kill Hazama.
Well, he was able to strangle and harm Mifang, who was able to survive the Takamaiko Suchi blasts.
Takamikazuchi, and yes, she did. This blast created an explosion visible from space. This explosion roughly equates to 65 teratons of TNT.
Which I think is very capable of taking out a big-ass boom status.
However, let's be fair. He was able to match Hakumen when using his Azure Grimoire, and Hakumen is pretty dang strong.
Hakumen in his prime is supposedly able to take out Izanami, who physically has stated she can replicate Requiem, atomizing of Earth and Moon with over...
By the way, Requiem, or Corpus Sculpco Requiem, is the 11th arc enemy, and
hits with 15.8 Yoda tons.
this was Hakumen in his prime, however, and Hakumen Hazama fought wielded only 20% of his true power, putting his power at only 3.16 Yoda tons, which is still a lot. And this isn't necessarily inconsistent, as Hakumen could also kill the Black Beast, who can destroy the planet.
But the most powerful ability of Hazama is one that doesn't even involve him. If he does use his astral feat, it instantly switches him from Hazama to Yuki Terumi.
Alright now, it is true that by essential fiction they're no longer in the same body, because Hakumen...
Nobody cares! They're separate now, but it's pretty much impossible to use Hazama at his strongest without using Yuki Terumi.
Yuki Terumi, real name Takiya Susanoo, is the original consciousness of the Susanoo unit. Terumi's greatest power is his capability to absorb the fear and hatred of others to increase his power and anchor him to the world. When he attacks a body, his intangible self is rendered immune to any physical attack and not directly targeting him, and he can even consume memories.
His magic is also strong enough to be used on the level of observation, whatever that means.
Well, you see, when Hakumen tried to kill him by using his time killer technique that literally kills all the time Terumi possesses, Terumi's ability to self-observationize himself meant that he could still survive for a short span of time. Now he was able to find Hazama, but unfortunately...
Hijinks went down and Terumi combined with the Susanoo unit again, moving along.
Well, if you want to explain it so simplistically, fine.
Terumi on his own is far more brutal and visceral than the graceful Hazama. Wielding his power violently, able to augment his strength to deliver flurries of distortion drives and of course his astral heat, which involves him wailing on his opponent with a bunch of green alien energy dildos. Taste the power of the dildos!
Most importantly, however, is the ending, wherein Terumi transforms into his most powerful state, the Susanoo.
Alright, almost done. Thank goodness Susanoo is really strong. Easily able to rival Hakumen and more powerful than Izanami, who has that whole mini Yoda-tons thing. He also faster than Ragnar, he can react to the big boom lanes that we talked about earlier, easily putting him at 1.7 times the speed of light.
Susanoo was considered stronger than Azrael by Agna, who can increase his power output with every hit when activating his drive, and at his peak even absorbed Nobel Vermilion.
Oh, isn't that the Master Unit possessing Mu-12?
Well, yes.
On second thought, don't explain, please. Noelle at the time had access to the power of the Eye, and was near perfect clone of the Master Unit itself. Even subconsciously, she created the entire Continuum shift, which is filled with infinite possibilities!
Yep, Susanoo has access to powers capable of mass reality warping infinite universes. Good writing, people.
Speaking of good writing, he doesn't really have any weaknesses too. Saying, well, his body is only planet level and he needs hacks to be the strongest isn't really a weakness. How many people have you met that can survive a planet blowing up in the face?
With the power of his magic on the Susanoo unit, there are a few things capable of matching the ever-escalating power of Hazama, Yuki Terumi, and Susanoo.
Okay, these combatants are said, let's settle this.
Time for these two fictional characters to collide.
This has gone on long enough. 一撃必殺じゃないですね。見え見えですよ。What a hit. Say your prayers. You little shit. 目開いてます？ひどい目に。地面をお舐めなさい。こちらですよ。Shred him. That's it. Here comes. I like that look on your face. Gee, that wasn't nice. Guess I can be serious for a bit. Go! Magatsu Izanagi! さてと、気持ちいいだろう Something like this? ダシュッとね。わしとゾンビに。Down! I hate looking after brats, you know? そんなものですか。ああ、埃だらけ。そうよ、気持ちいいだろう。勝てるとでも思ったんだ。これも確率事象ってやつなんですかね。ほうほう。
Well, that's one way to go out. Hey Archer, I think we have the most humiliating death on the show.
Agreed. Let's discuss why Hazama wins this.
fuck. Alright, where do we start?
Well, since we did this battle in 2 ways, giving the character their own feats and then generous scaling and the other caveat-filled things, we should start with how this battle turned out without all that. The rawest based form of this battle.
So, since people were going to complain about us not using a crossover for a character, we added a lot of more dumb stuff for another character, which caused more headache for us just to make them happy.
Yeah, sure. So let's get started. Adachi can originally scale to Yu before Izanami, which means he can scale to Sagiri, who covered Inaba and most likely the planet in this dangerous fog, which is already iffy since it's a statement. But that isn't much compared to what Hazama can do.
Hazama was able to harm someone who survived 65 teratons explosion. Even more impressively, once even matched 20% of Hakumen's power, which would equate to roughly 3 yotatons, enough to obliterate an entire planet.
Now for speed. Adachi here can react to characters who can create electrical bolts and lightning, and if you guys didn't know, the slowest a lightning bolt can go is... Demon, are you ready?
Oh yeah! Ready? 3, 2, 1... 220,000 miles per hour! Ah, man, I miss saying that.
I didn't.
Oh, aw, come on!
It gets annoying after the 87th time. As I was saying, Adachi is easily able to react to this and to other beings who can react to bullets at his slowest, like Naoto. But that's still nothing compared to Hazama's speed.
This motherfucker has been able to match, and at points even exceed Ragna the Blood Edge, who was able to react to and avoid a laser beam at nearly 2 times the speed of light.
Even if Adachi moved at the speed of a lightning bolt's return stroke, that wouldn't even be close. So Hazama already takes the victory here, but that's not what you all came to see, right?
No, they want us to go even further down the rabbit hole, man. And talk about their higher stuff, so let's get to it. Adachi is hypothetically able to scale the Joker and the Phantom Thieves before their fights with Yaldabaoth. It's meaning they most likely already fought Akumura, who made multiple stars and constellations in his palace, and fought his giant helper bots, who created a Big Bang attack. Pretty impressive, actually. But...
Hazama, at his peak, should be able to become Terumi and then become Susanoo. Susanoo is really strong. At his peak, he even absorbed Noelle at her peak, who subconsciously created infinite possibilities and was nearly a perfect creation of the Master Unit. Meaning he, essentially, had mass reality warping on a multiversal scale. Yeah.
Like, guys, how's Adachi scaling gonna help him against that? And if you want to go more crazy with this crossover stuff, let's talk about a certain cross-tag battle with the Blazblue cast.
In this game, Ragnar should be able to scale to you. Hazama is able to scale to Ragnar. So, we have exactly the same scaling as Hazama as we do Adachi when using crossovers. But then, Hazama also can get stronger by becoming Susanoo. So,
Adachi is screwed, guys. There it is. And that's not even talking about technical stuff. Adachi may have a big array of abilities with Izanagi, but again, Hazama is too fast and can wait it out until Adachi's MP runs out. Adachi's more likely smarter, but he can't really throw a punch. Neither the game or the anime is Adachi's own body strength enough to damage you at that level. He needs his persona, while Hazama, he loves getting up and bursting over his opponents, and he has shown he can hurt beings on his own. So even a pure fist fight without powers, Hazama creams him.
And yeah, Hazama might not be able to see Adachi's persona because, well, personas can only be seen by other persona users. But that doesn't really matter when the thing can't hurt the guy.
So while Adachi is more versatile and is most likely smarter, he's just no match for Hazama's superior strength, speed, durability, and way better scaling and powers.
Seems Adachi couldn't snake his way out of this one.
Winner is Hazama.
Next time on Fictional Characters Collide.